Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
What's going on, guys? It is TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL edition, week 5. We are quickly moving through the season here. With me, as always, as fine citizen, Mr. Jacob Workman. Jake, how's it going, man?
Good. The Lions finally beat Seattle. Something I've been waiting for a long time. Goff was perfect and caught a touchdown. It was a pretty good performance Monday night.
Yeah, it was a good one. Very fun game to watch. The other Monday night game, not so much, but
oh my, no.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
That puts the Lions on a bye this week, and I think you might know what happens next week. So,
unfortunately, I do.
We finally get the battle again. Which get ready, Debbie, and get ready, me. There's going to be no lube used, and it's going to be awful. So,
well, I mean, the thing that's frustrating for me is that D-Law is going to be out. Micah Parsons is probably going to be out. He's dealing with a high ankle sprain. Brandon Cooks is probably going to be out.
It doesn't matter.
Not that it matters, but it's going to make it look a hell of a lot worse. So we'll see what happens, but that's next week's problem.
When the refs will be on your side the whole game, it won't matter who's on the field. So we'll see what happens.
I know what you're talking about. All right, let's jump into a last week recap really quick. Jake's week 4 record 6-8. He hit his lock with Cincinnati, missed the dog with Seattle. Total record for the year is 27-35. I also went 6-8, but I missed both my lock and my dog. I locked in on Houston, and my dog was New Orleans. Missed both of those. I am 25-37. So Jake is ahead of me by 2 games. Both of us are struggling a little bit this year, but the rest of the betting world is also struggling. We don't have a full scale Vegas update for you guys this week, but just know it's not good. It's approaching record territory for how good Vegas has had it, so far this year, versus what's going on our side. So,
which really in the end is good for us when you're not betting. I mean, when you're betting, it sucks, but when you're not betting, it's awesome because that means that these games are going crazy. Like it's a lot of fun this year. The games have been crazy this year. It's fun.
Yeah. Difficult to predict for sure. My wife, the place where she works has a pick'em that they do every week. And the first 2 weeks that they did this, the person that's been winning has been one of the girls that works there that's just picking based on her favorite color. So maybe I'll shift to a different strategy here. I am partially colorblind, so this is probably gonna be a little difficult, but we'll see what happens. I'll throw some money down on some blue jerseys. All right, let's jump into some news stuff here. First off, Davante Adams. We talked last week about his visible frustration on the sideline. Antonio Pierce made some comments after the game about how some players made business decisions. I think everybody quickly figured out who that was that he was talking about. There's potentially some other players involved, but Davante Adams is the one that they were most concerned with. Pierce later doubled down on his comments, and then he was caught liking an Instagram post that talked about Davante wanting a trade. Shortly after that, Tay did come out confirming that he wants the hell out of Vegas. Now reports are that he prefers to be in a Jets uniform, obviously wants to be reunited with A-Rod in New York, but he is open to other teams, the Saints being another one with Derek Carr. The Raiders have said that they're looking for at least a second-round pick and additional compensation. Jake, how do you think this all shakes out? Where do you think he lands?
I wish Brad Holmes would say, here you go, have a second-round pick. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Davante Adams would be quite the pair. That's what I would really love.
Be terrifying.
At the beginning of it all, like yesterday or 2 days ago, there was some talk that the Lions were one of the teams he would be okay with. It's not really a trade that we would ever make. That's not really a Brad Holmes move, even though for a second I think it would be awesome, but I don't think it'll happen. I think it's a given. I think before the season it was even a given. It seemed like it was going to happen before the season even started. He's going to be back with Aaron. I think he'll be in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer for really any team to give up a second to get Davante Adams. I mean, the talking heads, we talked about talking heads in the last episode, NCAA, but with the NFL stuff that's going on, like the fact that there's even a question that there's people out there that think Tay has lost a step, and it's not because he's been playing with shit quarterbacks for the past couple of years. Like, he's 31 years old, but he's still one of the best receivers in the league. And he went out there to play with his
college roommate at Fresno, Derek Carr. Like that was his whole purpose of going there.
Yep.
And as soon as they got rid of him, like it was like, okay, like why would you
am
piss
I
off?
here?
Yeah, why would you piss off what is, well, your best offensive player for sure, and probably if not the best, your 1A to 1B best player on your team. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Very confusing. Sticking around with Raiders discussion, but for something a little slightly different, similar to Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh, Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce will not be coaching at the college level anytime soon. The NCAA has imposed an 8-year show clause order on the coach, basically meaning that any program that wants to hire him has to show cause as to why they should not be sanctioned. This comes after an NCAA investigation that concluded Pierce arranged for or personally provided free meals, apparel, airfare, and or lodging for 27 prospects during his time at Arizona State. Interviews with staff members indicated that Pierce definitely ran the show within the Sun Devils program, and they feared for their jobs if they did not follow what Pierce wanted. They also found out that Pierce failed to cooperate with the investigation throughout the entire process and constantly denied any participation in what was uncovered. 8 years is a lot. I don't think he's planning on going anywhere anytime soon. He's going to be with the Raiders for a bit, but still surprising.
No, I think a lot of that was, I think that was with Herm, like when Herm Edwards was there too. Like, I think that was all part of that staff, and who the hell knows what they were doing. And the team was awful when they were there too. Like, I mean, that's the staff that lost Jaden Daniels, for Christ's sake. Like, yeah. And then he went to LSU, won a Heisman, and look at what he's doing now. Like, clearly that staff wasn't doing. I mean, if you're doing that much wrong and you're not winning, then you got some issues.
Yeah, for sure. Disappointing for that team too, because I had a chance to meet Herm Edwards during I did ESPN internship, my master's program, and Herm's like one of the nicest dudes that I ran into during that process. But anyway, digressing here. We talked about the Jets a little bit ago and Devontae landing there. Speaking of the Jets, last week they lost an offensive non-starter game against the Broncos. After the game, head coach Robert Saleh attributed 5 false starts to a cadence that Aaron Rodgers uses pre-snap. 2 days later, Saleh did the Michael Jackson moonwalk and said there is no cadence issue. There never was a cadence issue. It was created, as if to say this was a fabricated story that came out of nowhere and wasn't something that he just said a couple days prior. Jake, I'm not sure if you saw the A-Rod interview on Pat McAfee talking about this. It was kind of a funny back and forth between him and AJ Hawk. He had that kind of humored but slightly annoyed look on his face. Mm-hmm. We know A-Rod's got an island that he likes to use where he puts people that have wronged him at the wrong time. In Salah's not doing himself any favors here. He's obviously got to be frustrated with the slow start. Now these comments come out. If the Jets fumble the bag and don't get Devontae Adams in a Jets uniform in the next couple weeks, what do you think the fallout's going to be?
Yeah, Saleh obviously was a good defensive coordinator for the 49ers, but he really hasn't done much as a head coach yet for the Jets. And I mean, you can't make idiotic comments like that. Like Aaron's cadence is like renowned. Like it's probably the best in NFL history. I mean, there's not a player I can think of. Peyton Manning is the only one that even halfway comes to mind, but even he didn't do it as many as Aaron did. The countless times that you see Aaron snapping the ball, catching guys off guard with 12 on the field, getting guys to jump off sides and throwing a free play, which ends up leads into a long completion or a pass interference. Like, I mean, he's been, it's truly amazing just to watch him, what he does. So for his idiotic comments after the game and then to try to walk it back, like, I don't know. Clearly, he's one of those coaches, kind of like Ron Rivera last year. Like, don't say what's in your mind. Think before you speak. Like, you're saying stupid shit. Like, yeah, you're in New York. Like, you can't say that shit. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a good ending for him, regardless of how the season goes. Especially because I think they will get Devontae, as I said earlier, and I think Aaron wants 1 or 2 more years with a chance to win a Super Bowl. I think Aaron probably knows that's not the coach that's going to get it done, even though he's a defensive coach. And I mean, he likes Hackett, which is his offensive coordinator. So we'll see how that goes. But I just think as an overall picture, Aaron's going to realize that that's not a coach that can lead a team to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been overly impressed with Saleh. I don't see this ending well, especially, like the Jets went all in on getting Rodgers to New York. And they know that he's got, time's ticking. Um, I don't think they're going to mess around with it. I will be very surprised if we don't see Devontae Adams in a Jets uniform within the next week and a half, 2 weeks. But if it does not happen and he somehow gets traded somewhere else because the Jets sat on their hands and didn't get an offer in soon enough, I can imagine that Rodgers is going to be pretty vocal about how frustrated he is. So we'll see what happens with that. Moving into players of the month. This is the first full month for us to be able to call this out. NFC offensive player of the month, Sam Darnold. AFC offensive player of the month, Josh Allen. NFC defensive player of the month, Aiden Hutchinson on the Lions. AFC defensive player of the month, Kyle Van Noy. Defensive rookie,
Former Lion.
Former
Also
Lion.
Soaker.
Oh, Van Noy, you talking about?
Yeah, we drafted Van Noy, and he's a BYU Soaker. So
well, I thought you were talking about this next guy. I figured you'd be happy about this next guy. NFL defensive rookie of the month is Jared Verse.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, offensive rookie. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. It's Jaden Daniels. NFC special teams, Brandon Aubrey, kicker for the Cowboys, and AFC special teams, Chris Boswell, kicker for the Steelers. A couple quick other points on news. Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire has returned to practice. It remains to be seen if he'll be cleared for a full return to the field yet, but the Chiefs are shorthanded in the backfield, so they will definitely activate him as soon as possible. Bills outside linebacker Von Miller has been suspended 4 games without pay by the NFL for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Browns defensive lineman Mike Hall has been suspended for 5 games for the same reason. QB Tyler Huntley will remain the Dolphins starter for Miami's Week 5 matchup against the Patriots. And then Derrick Henry playing really well. He only needs 18 yards on Sunday to reach 10,000 total rushing yards on his career. He is also only 1 touchdown away from 100 end zone trips. If both of those happen this weekend, he will be the 5th player in league history to have both milestones. The others are, you want to take a guess?
I have no idea.
Jim Brown, LaDainian Tomlinson, Adrian Peterson, and Emmitt Smith.
Jeez.
You're not in quiz form yet, but you're going to have to get ready because when we get to the slow season, you're going to get some mascot questions coming your way.
In the draft night questions, good Lord.
Oh yeah. I try to throw in some zingers at you. All right. Ton of injuries here. Trying to get through these as quick as possible. Cardinals kicker Matt Prater did not practice today. He's dealing with a left knee injury. They have signed kicker Chad Ryland to their practice squad, so it sounds like he may not be available. Browns defensive end Alex Wright out for the year with the torn tricep. Nick Chubb has returned to practice on Wednesday as he works his way back from his knee injury. Panthers linebacker Shaq Thompson out for the year after suffering a torn Achilles. Running back Miles Sanders is listed with an illness. He's been added to the injury report. Dallas, we already talked about this earlier, dealing with multiple injuries. DeMarcus Lawrence is on IR with the midfoot sprain. Micah Parsons has a high ankle sprain. He's unlikely to play this week. Brandon Cooks has had a knee problem, and he's been getting injections to help with his meniscus injury. Those injections have caused a knee infection, so he is going to be out, and he may be out for a couple weeks. Broncos running back Tyler Batty, he was carted off the field on Sunday's win over the Jets. It was pretty ugly. He does have full movement in his arms and legs, and he is back in Denver with the team, so that's good news. Packers wide receiver Christian Watson suffered a high ankle sprain in Sunday's loss to the Vikings. It's likely he's going to miss multiple weeks, but they are not placing him on IR. Speaking of the Vikings, tight end TJ Hawkinson will have his 21-day practice window open up on Friday, so it'll be interesting to see how Sam Darnold uses him. Texans running back Joe Mixon and wide receiver Tank Dell are both considered day-to-day. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson also considered day-to-day with an oblique and abdominal strain. He does have a shot to play against the Jags. Jonathan Taylor, meanwhile, last we looked, does not have an update on his ankle injury. The team is not considering putting him on short-term IR slot, though. They did put defensive end Tyquan Lewis on IR with an elbow injury. Jags running back and Jake's favorite player, Travis Etienne, is fine after suffering a shoulder injury on Sunday's loss in Houston. Evan Ingram, who's been out for the last 3 weeks, is looking to return. He is now listed as day-to-day, as is linebacker Devin Lloyd. Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice is still undergoing tests. He's definitely not playing this week after suffering a knee injury from a random play where Patrick Mahomes tried ending his career.
I would like to. I'd like to throw something in there.
Yeah.
Chiefs. Famous girlfriend of a player, Taylor Swift, has a song called "Karma." Maybe we should throw that in for him.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, but his mom got caught stealing an Amazon package.
Wearing his jersey.
Wearing Mama Rice's jersey.
Mama Rice.
Yeah. Mama Rice.
Brilliant.
Sweetheart. Not smart, honey. Flip the jersey around. Put a Kelsey jersey on. Something.
Quality family we have there. Quality family.
Yeah. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp, he's not playing this week. Dolphins linebacker Jalen Phillips, unfortunately for him, he was ruled out Sunday with a knee injury, and it was announced yesterday he is going to be out for the rest of the year with the knee. Odell Beckham, who has started the season on the PUP list, he does have his practice window open up, so we may see him on the field sooner than later. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have a quarterback to get thrown to. Devontae Adams is out with a hamstring injury. Max Crosby is also dealing with an ankle injury, but no update on his availability. Niners running back Christian McCaffrey. This just keeps getting weirder, man. They don't release that he's dealing with his issue. Jordan Mason accidentally slips and says the team knew about it. Then he travels to Germany to get opinion from somebody who apparently is extremely knowledgeable about Achilles tendons. Now they're announcing he's got Achilles tendonitis in both of his legs. There's a lot of questions around this, but I don't know when Run CMC is going to be available. Really sucks for all the fantasy owners that used him in pick one. Nothing else to say about it. I'll be interested to see where this goes, though. I think this is probably going to get to the point where the NFL may dig into this a little bit more. Meanwhile, Juice, George Kittle, and Fred Warner, those are all guys listed as day-to-day. Wide receiver Ricky Purcell, who was on the non-IR or non-football IR list after getting shot. He is eligible to return to practice this week, but they have not opened up his window yet. Terrell Owens' son, Tariq Owens, is signing with the team's practice squad. That was a little interesting. We'll see if he gets a chance to step on the field. The Bucs' entire roster is injured. They have at least 15 players that receive regular playing time right now that are getting injured. I'm not running through that list. It's a lot. I feel bad for Tampa. Titans QB Will Levis I wish I would have put the photo on here because the face that he made on the sidelines has been making the circles around the internet. Dealing with a shoulder injury doesn't appear to be long-term. Russell Wilson on the Steelers is starting to see his practice time pick up a little bit. Justin Fields is still going to start Sunday night against the Cowboys. Patriots have lost their center David Andrews for the year after having shoulder surgery. Malik Neighbors is still in concussion protocol for the Giants. And finally, for the Commanders, Jamison Crowder landed on the IR with a calf injury. Brian Robinson is also dealing with a knee injury. He did not practice yesterday, but he still may be available for the matchup this week.
I've got something I'd like to throw in too. We have a new number 10 on the NFL all-time passing yard list as Eli Manning was passed this weekend by the one and only Matthew Stafford.
Optimus 9 added again. Throwing to nobody because Demarcus Robinson's hurt and Puka Nakua's hurt and Cooper Kupp's hurt and Tyler Higbee. Is Higbee back yet?
I believe so. I'm trying to think if I saw him last week or not. Last week was so bad I don't really remember. But so 9 and 10 now on the list are Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford. Nice. They are the only active players. Yeah. Okay. We got Brady 1, Breeze 2, Peyton 3, Favre 4, Big Ben 5, Phillip Rivers 6, Matt Ryan 7, Dan Marino 8, Aaron Rodgers 9, and now Matthew Stafford at 10, which moves Eli to 11.
Sorry, Eli. All right. That is it for all these long ass injury updates. Let's move into making some picks. Our Thursday night matchup is an NFC South showdown as the 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to Dirty Bird Country to face off against the 2-2 Atlanta Falcons, 8:20 p.m. Eastern at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Amazon Prime tonight. Bucs are coming off a statement win at home against the Philadelphia Eagles, while the Falcons are home for the third week in a row and coming off a 2-point win over their division rival New Orleans Saints. Broadway Baker versus Captain Kirk. Atlanta is favored by 1.5.
Yeah, kick off in about an hour and 15 minutes. I like the Falcons minus the 1.5 here. You just mentioned Tampa does have a lot of injuries. I think the Falcons have played well. Some of the games they didn't close out, and actually last week they kind of snuck a win. So they're one of those teams that really every game could have been either way so far. I do like the Falcons at home in this one against Tampa.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is going to come down to which weak defense which weak run defense can play better. But with the amount of injuries that are happening on Tampa Bay, I just don't see them getting out of Atlanta with a win. So I am also taking Atlanta minus the points.
They're coming, wiki.
Can you get some towels for me, please? I'm really losing a lot of blood.
You sound like you're from London. Yeah, I'm from London.
You sound like you're from London. The first of our Sunday games is an early morning matchup across the pond as the 2-2 New York Jets and the 4-0 Minnesota Vikings travel to the Big Smoke in the NFL's first Battle of London in 2024. 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on NFL Network. Jets are coming off a 1-point loss at home at the hands of the Denver Broncos, while the Vikings are one of 2 undefeated teams remaining in the league and are coming off a 2-point victory over the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau last Sunday. Both of these teams have played in London in the past, so no surprises really for either team. Can the Vikings remain undefeated, or will A-Rod get a big W over his old division rival? Vikings are favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for Aaron this weekend. I'm rooting for Aaron and the Jets to beat Minnesota. I need to see them get a loss on their record, so I'm going to go with the Jets plus the 2.5.
Yeah, Minnesota's first loss has to come sometime. I don't see the team going undefeated by any means. Early game in London seems like a perfect opportunity for it. If this were in Minnesota or even really New York, I would really consider leaning towards the Vikings. But given the situation, I think this could be their first loss. So I am also going to take Jets here to at least cover. Our Sunday stateside matchups kick off with the AFC North battle as the 2-2 Baltimore Ravens travel to Skyline Chili Country to face off against the 1-3 Cincinnati Bengals, 1 p.m. Eastern at Paycor Stadium on CBS. Ravens have turned up the heat in the last 2 weeks and are looking to make it 3 in a row after a dominating win at home against the Bills Sunday night, while the Bengals return to Cincinnati after getting a 10-point victory over the Panthers in Charlotte. Can the Bengals slow down this Ravens offense, and specifically Derrick Henry? Ravens are favored by 2.5 as the road team.
Yeah, I'd like to see Cincinnati come out and I want to see their offense against the Ravens defense. I think they can slow down the Ravens offense a little bit. I don't know. Since this, you got a divisional game on your home field. You're finally got to win, start getting the season going, see if they can maybe get some hope to keep a playoff hope alive. I'm going to take Cincinnati plus the 2.5 here.
Yeah, I think this is it's going to probably be a pretty popular upset pick. I don't think this is a good matchup for the Bengals, though. Derrick Henry's been playing really well. The Bengals are bottom 7 in the league in run defense. I'm going to stick with the hotter team and go with Baltimore to get the win and cover. Next up, 1-3 Carolina Panthers head to Windy City to battle the 2-2 Chicago Bears, 1 p.m. Eastern at Soldier Field on Fox. Panthers look to bounce back from their 10-point home loss at the hands of the Bengals last week, while the Bears look to make it 2 straight at home after getting a 6-point win over the visiting LA Rams. Chicago is favored by 4.5.
Yeah, the Bears, they beat a pretty banged up Rams team. Speaking of officiating, that's awful, like we talked about in college football. Stafford got the ball in the Stafford situation into the game, 2-minute drill, touchdown wins the game. He threw a pick, but when he threw it, they hit him right in the head. Like a hand smoked him right in the head. If that was Brady or Manning or anyone, that Aaron Rodgers, the guy would have been in jail and suspended. So, but Stafford never gets the credit. It was a clear penalty that wasn't called. It was ridiculous. And that led to the game being over. But with that said, the Bears performed well at home. I still don't think Carolina is good, even with the quarterback change. Bears on their home field, I'll take them to cover the 4.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears here as well. Panthers had that one flashy week in Vegas. Caleb Williams looks like he's starting to get his feet underneath of him a little bit. This Bear defense should cause some problems for Carolina. So I am also going to take Chi-Town to win and cover. Next up, we have an AFC East divisional battle as the 1-3 Miami Dolphins hit the road to Foxborough to face off against the 1-3 New England Patriots, 1 p.m. Eastern at Gillette Stadium on Fox. Both teams have lost 3 straight games. Dolphins are coming off a 19-point loss at home against the 1-win Tennessee Titans, while the Patriots return to Mass after a cross-country road trip that resulted in a 17-point loss against the 49ers. New England is favored here at home by 1.5.
Yeah, if there's ever a game no one wants to watch, it might be this one. I'm going to take New England just on their home field minus the 1.5. Miami has not looked good at all without Tua, so I'm going to take New England.
Yeah, probably going to be an ugly game to watch. I am going to take Miami here. Huntley's going to have another week under his belt running the offense. The Dolphins have a lot more offensive weapons. I think this is probably still going to be a low-scoring matchup. The Fins just have to win, so I'm going to take Miami here plus the 1.5. Next up is a battle of 3-1 squads as the Buffalo Bills head to Space City to take on the Houston Texans, 1 p.m. Eastern at NRG Stadium on CBS. Bills continue their road trip and look to move past the 25-point loss last week to the Ravens in Baltimore, while the Texans stay home and are looking for their second win in a row after beating the Jags by 4 in Houston. The Bills are favored by 1.5. Yeah,
I'm going to take Houston on the home field here, plus the 1.5. Buffalo's obviously been better than expected, but I think at some point in the NFL, everything comes around and comes down to earth, and I think this is going to be one of those games. I'll take Houston at home.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Diggs is going to do against this team. I'm expecting some trash talking, a little bit of fireworks to happen. It's also going to be fun to watch Allen go against Stroud. I think this could potentially be a high-scoring affair, but I am going to take the Texans here, plus the points to get the outright W. Next up, we got a divisional battle. 2-2 Indianapolis Colts heading to Duval County to battle the 0-4 Jacksonville Jaguars, 1 p.m. Eastern at Everbank Stadium on CBS. Colts hit the road and look to make it 3 straight after getting a 3-point win over the Steelers last week in Indy, while the Jags are still searching for their first victory and are the only remaining winless team in the league after a 4-point road loss at the hands of the Texans. Jacksonville is favored by 2.5.
Yeah, I feel like the Jags beat the Colts at home every time they play, so I'm going to take Jacksonville in this one.
I'm with you. Tough pick. I'm not sure who's going to be under center for the Colts or if Taylor's going to be fully healthy, but the Jags are desperate for a win here. I don't see them not getting a victory in this one, so I am also going to take Jacksonville minus the points. Next up, we have an interconference matchup as the 1-3 Cleveland Browns travel to the nation's capital to face off against the 3-1 Washington Commanders, 1 p.m. Eastern at Northwest Stadium on Fox. Cleveland looks to avoid 3 straight losses after back-to-back L's against the Giants and the Raiders, while the Commanders look to make it 4 straight wins after a huge victory over the Cardinals in Arizona last week. Commanders are favored by 3.
Yeah, I really like Washington, what they're doing with Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury. I do kind of feel like this is probably a kind of like a get right game, like I just said with Houston for Cleveland, but I'm going to take Washington in this one minus the 3.
Yeah, I was honestly a little surprised that this spread wasn't a little bit more. The Browns offense is just a mess right now. Commanders are playing hot. Garrett isn't 100% healthy. I'm going to take Jaden Daniels in the squad to get the win and cover. First of our 4 p.m. matchups features an NFC West divisional round showdown as the 1-3 Arizona Cardinals head to the Bay Area to face the 2-2 San Francisco 49ers. 4:05 p.m. Eastern kickoff at Levi Stadium on Fox. Arizona looks to shake off an embarrassing 28-point loss at home last week against the Commanders, while the 49ers are looking for 2 straight W's at home after beating the Patriots by 17. The Niners are favored by 7.5.
Yeah, I don't really like this pick, but I'm actually going to take the 49ers minus the 7.5. I think Arizona can keep it within that, but it is a road game for them. I don't know. The Niners are actually becoming kind of hard to trust. Like it's kind of an unpredictability. Like, what are they going to be every single week at this point?
Yeah. Another significant home spread for the Niners too. But Purdy's looked good this year. I think he's been the one consistent on the offense. Cardinals can't stop the run. I think they're going to struggle a little bit with this matchup on offense. It spreads it around. So I am going to take the Niners here minus the points. The next of our 4 p.m. games is another divisional battle, this time in the AFC West, as the 2-2 Las Vegas Raiders head to Mile High to match up against the 2-2 Denver Broncos. 4:05 p.m. at Empower Field at Mile High on Fox. Vegas is coming off a 4-point win over the Browns at home, but look to navigate their future without Devontae Adams, while the Broncos return to Denver after getting a 1-point win in a defensive battle against the Jets last weekend in East Rutherford. Broncos are favored by 1.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take Denver minus the 1.5. The Raiders, there seems to be a lot going on there. Potential trade, maybe of 2 of their best players, Devontae and Max Crosby. I mean, you never know. They both might be gone. Just a lot of situations going on there. And with the comment from the coach last week about business decisions and all that stuff, it's just they're kind of hard to trust at this point also. So I'm going to take Denver at home. Denver's defense has been really good also.
Yeah, Denver's defense has looked good. I definitely would be betting the under on this one, but I'm also going to take Denver at home to get the winning cover. Next up, we have the 2-2 Green Bay Packers heading west to the Wood to take on the 1-3 Los Angeles Rams. 4:25 p.m. at SoFi Stadium on CBS. Green Bay hits the road after a 2-point loss in Lambeau at the hands of the undefeated Vikings, while the Rams return home after a 6-point loss to the Chicago Bears in Chi-Town and continue to try to battle through very significant injuries. Packers are favored by 3.
Yeah, the injuries are my issue here. I like the Packers defense, and I just wish the Rams had their offense for one game. It would be nice because I think the Rams would win this game. I think they're still going to be very competitive in this game. I think 3's a little too low. I can see the Packers winning this by like 5-7, so I'm going to take the Packers.
Yeah, Love looked a little rough in his first week back, but I expect him to knock the rust off a little bit. Josh Jacobs probably have a solid game here as well, so I am going to take the pack here minus the points. But I am excited to see what this Rams team is going to do when they do get back to healthy here in the next couple weeks, hopefully. The last of our 4 p.m. matchups features the 1-3 New York Football Giants as they head to Emerald City to face off against the 3-1 Seattle Seahawks, 4:25 p.m. Eastern at Lemon Field on CBS. Giants are coming off a mini bye after previously losing to the Cowboys 20-15 at home last Thursday, while the Seahawks return home after a 13-point loss at the hands of the Motor City Lions in Detroit. Seattle is favored by 6.5.
Yeah, Seattle's going back home with a loss, but they still looked very good. Like they're a solid team. I like Seattle a lot, actually. And 6.5 is on their home field with. It's not enough for the Giants. I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, I'm assuming Malik Neighbors clears concussion protocol between now and then, but I don't think it's going to matter. Giants continue to have problems on that side of the ball. Does not bode well to keep pace with this offense. I am going to take Seattle here minus the points to win and cover. Our Sunday night football matchup features the 2-2 Dallas Cowboys as they head to the city of Bridges to take on the 3-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. 8:20 p.m. Eastern kickoff at Acrisure Stadium on NBC. Just like the Giants, the Cowboys are coming off their own mini bye after getting a W on the road against the Giants last week, while the Steelers return home after suffering their first loss last Sunday against the Colts in Indy. Steelers are favored by 1.5.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun Sunday night game. I'm actually on Dallas plus the 1.5 though. I just think they're a little bit of a better team. I'm not sold on Pittsburgh yet. I don't know. Pittsburgh's one of those teams that I still need to see a little more. Like you should have. I think they should have beat the Colts. So losing that game has kind of spun me a little on them. And I know Dallas has had their issues, but I do like Dallas to go to Pittsburgh in prime time and actually win the game.
Yeah, Dak historically plays pretty well under the lights in the regular season anyway. Going to be a little bit tough of a game, especially on the defensive side, because we already can't stop the run, and now we're going to be missing Parsons. Carson is injured right now, a cornerback that's been filling in for Bland. D-Law is going to be out for a while. We're starting to deal with some injuries, not to the extent of the Rams and a couple other these teams, but it's still not easy. That said, I like the matchup. It's Sunday night. I think Dak has possibility of having a big game. I expect both CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson to have solid games in this one. I am going to take Dallas here plus the 1.5, and I hope I am right on this. We'll see what happens. The last of our games here, we do return to normality this week with just one Monday Night Football matchup. This week should be an entertaining one. 2-2 New Orleans Saints head to the heart of America to battle the 4-0 Kansas City Chiefs. 8:15 p.m. kickoff at Arrowhead on ESPN. The Saints started the year hot, but they have lost their last two, most recently a 2-point loss to the Falcons in Atlanta last week. Meanwhile, the Chiefs remain one of the 2 undefeated teams and return to KC after getting a 7-point dub over the LA Chargers in Inglewood. KC is favored by 5.5.
Yeah, Chiefs obviously going to have some questions at receiver this week, but I like Spags to shut down the Saints offense. So, and give me Arrowhead on a Monday night. I'm taking the Chiefs minus 5.5.
Yeah, I like the situation for them. I also think that there's a possibility that we may see some flashes from Xavier Worthy in this game with Rashee Rice being out. So KC's obviously struggling a little bit with the run game, but I do also like Spags against this defense. He shows up when it counts. Monday night under the lights should be a good one. I am going to go with the Chiefs at home. The LA Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions, and Tennessee Titans are all on bye this week. This is the first week for byes. So that is it for us. Let's move into locks of the week. Jake, what's your lock?
Hey, give me Denver minus 1.5 against the Raiders on their home field. Like I said, I think the Raiders have too much going on, too many issues. Some guys might be leaving the team. And I think Denver's defense is enough to shut down the Raiders offense, or what might be a lack thereof if Devontae's not there.
Yeah. Even more of a struggle already than what they're dealing with. I am going to go with the San Francisco 49ers minus 7.5 over Arizona. I think this is going to be an easy win for San Fran. Kyler has looked a little rough the past game and a half. So I am going to take San Fran to get the win at home. Let's go, dog. What's your dog?
Dog of the week, give me Cincinnati beating Baltimore on their home field. Cincinnati is plus 120.
I like it. We'll see what happens there. I am going to go with the Jets. Dog plus 118 over the Vikings. We talked about it earlier. I just think this game being in London is probably going to be a good scenario for the Vikings to get their first loss of the year. So that is what I'm calling here. Jets over Vikings in London. That is it for us, guys, for week 5. Keep plugging along here. We're doing our best. It's been a crazy year for picking bets. Thursday night, we got a game coming on in just under an hour. We had some scheduling conflicts this week, so we just had to push it back a little bit. Apologize about that, but you guys do get lines that are a little closer to current. So yeah, that's it for us. We will be back next week. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out our NCAA podcast. As always, go check out the beefy 5-layer burrito.
Yes, please watch it on YouTube. Please watch the YouTube version of the college episode.
Yeah, if you do watch it, just do us a favor and please don't report it, because
please comment. I want all the comments from it. Please
just direct them at Jacob Workman.
There's no reporting. Just report how awesome it is. That's what I want to see.
Just go look at it and make sure your kids aren't around. All right. For the fine citizen, Mr. Jacob Workman, this is Reese Downing, TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, week 5.
Some kid toys. I mean, there's like that square peg in the round hole. I mean, it's kind of something similar to that. So it could be a learning experience. It's
I apologize to our viewers and listeners who go watch this. But
just
please go do it, because we do need the views.
That's right.
Again, TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL edition, week 5 for Jacob Workman. This is Reese Downing. Cheers and good luck on the betting this week, guys.
See you, everyone.